This essay embarks on a difficult but necessary intellectual exercise. We ask the question, what if the Axis powers had achieved a decisive victory in World War II? This is a thought experiment, a journey into a dark, alternate timeline. It is crucial to state at the outset that this exploration is not an endorsement of any hateful ideology. Instead, its purpose is to underscore the fragility of freedom, the catastrophic cost of totalitarianism, and the importance of learning from history. Our approach is careful speculation, grounded in the stated aims and documented actions of the Nazi regime. We will separate the myths of Nazi propaganda from the more probable, grim realities. Assume a scenario where Germany controls continental Europe, the United Kingdom is neutralized, and the Soviet Union is stalled or defeated, halting the Allied counteroffensive. From there, we explore cascading consequences, building a plausible, evidence-based picture of a world that never came to be. The sensitivity of this topic cannot be overstated. We will discuss policies of mass murder, systemic oppression, and total subjugation of human dignity. The language will be direct and factual, avoiding sensationalism while never sanitizing the horror. This what-if serves as a mirror, revealing the dangers of unchecked power, the poison of divisive ideologies, and the moral courage needed to oppose them. As we step into this hypothetical timeline, we do so to understand tyranny at scale, calculate its human cost, and trace the long shadows across generations, so we may protect the world we have. In a world where the Third Reich was victorious, the political map of Europe would be redrawn not with ink, but with blood and iron. The primary Nazi objective was a vast German-dominated empire, erasing sovereign democratic nations, parliaments, elections, multi-party systems, all dismantled. They would be replaced by puppet regimes, military governors, and Reichskommissariats, answering to a single centralized power. National self-determination for non-Germans would be extinguished, enforced by an omnipresent security apparatus. Public dissent impossible. Private speech dangerous. Justice becomes an instrument of state policy. Courts enforcing the will of the Führer. The international order would be shattered and remade. Eurasia dominated by the Reich, an isolationist but powerful United States, and an ambitious Japanese empire. Relations become transactional and predatory. Spheres of influence where might makes right and small nations survive at the sufferance of neighbors. Propaganda proclaims a 1,000-year peaceful Reich. The reality is perpetual conflict, counterinsurgency, border crises, rivalries, and rebellion. The empire on maps is a cauldron of ethnic tensions, bureaucratic infighting, and simmering uprising, held by terror, forever near collapse. Daily life would be reshaped, from classroom to family home, all brought into alignment with Nazi principles. Education becomes indoctrination, history rewritten, science purged of so-called Jewish theories, boys trained for war, girls for motherhood. The Hitler Youth and League of German Girls become compulsory, the state superseding parents from a young age. Experimental art, jazz, literature suppressed as degenerate, museums purged for propaganda art, militarism and pastoral idyls. Book burnings swell, cinema and radio serve the state, nationalist anthems and censored news dominate. The legal system codifies racial and political hierarchies. Nuremberg laws expanded across occupied territories. Signs dictate benches, shops, trams. ID cards fix one's worth, even life, by racial category. Aryan loyalists gain housing and employment, but only through unwavering obedience. Privacy disappears. Surveillance invades the home. Neighbors spy on neighbors. Children report on parents. Fear poisons social ties. Life becomes a script. Survive by performing the role assigned. Economic realities. The engine of a 1,000-year Reich. A hybrid of state-controlled capitalism and plunder, built to sustain power and war. Private industry persists but is subjugated, rewarded with contracts, bound by state quotas and plans. Autarky and militarization starve the consumer economy. Shortages, long hours, no right to strike. Strength through joy offers choreographed leisure as social control. The Reich rests on exploiting conquered lands. Lebensraum as economic plan, farms in the east, factories in the west. Poland and Ukraine remade as agricultural colonies. Grain, oil, coal, iron funneled to the Reich. German heartlands prosper at the brutal expense of a subjugated periphery. Populations push toward serfdom. Plunder, slave labor, and inefficient central planning breed corruption and stagnation. Innovation withers. Powerful short-term, the engine grinds toward collapse. Consumer scarcity and scientific brain drain leave the Reich behind. With victory secured, genocidal racial policies accelerate, unhindered by war. The Holocaust, core to Nazi ideology, not aberration. Camps like Auschwitz-Birkenau continue. New sites built to erase Jewish life from Atlantic to Urals. The project widens. Roma and Sinti, Poles, Russians, Ukrainians. Millions slated for enslavement, expulsion, extermination under General Plan Ost. Racial hygiene permeates society. Disabled people, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, political dissidents. Targeted for imprisonment, sterilization, experimentation, execution. The cost is lives, and cultures, languages, communities erased in a continental wound that never heals. A world where a major power normalizes industrial-scale murder by ethnicity, faith, or condition. An unparalleled moral catastrophe. The triumph of the Reich would mark a dark age, genocide as statecraft, plunging humanity into barbarism. Global fault lines, resistance, and a divided world. A German victory would not bring peace. It would spark a more volatile global conflict. Fortress Europe faces the United States. Hostile blocs wage espionage, propaganda, and proxy wars, from South America to Africa and the Middle East. Resistance goes underground. Partisans, saboteurs, spies, rebels, backed by governments in exile, reminding the world freedom lives on. Technological competition accelerates. Rockets, jets, the bomb. A far darker nuclear shadow than history's Cold War. Internal contradictions and external pressure erode the Reich. Yet collapse is neither quick nor guaranteed. Decades of suffering may follow. Conclusion: lessons from a history that must never be. The scale of catastrophe averted is immense. No stable order, only institutionalized genocide, enslavement, and perpetual war. Politics reduced to tyranny, economy to plunder destined for collapse, and the human spirit crushed beneath unrelenting terror. This thought experiment clarifies how fear, nationalism, and hatred dismantle democracy, and why freedom must be actively defended by every generation. It refutes totalitarian promises. Behind the mask lie nihilism, violence, and self-destruction. Historical memory is a moral imperative. Remember victims as individuals. Study perpetrators. Honor resistors and liberators. Recognize warning signs. Stand against hatred. Protect democratic institutions and universal human rights. Be vigilant guardians of the light.